I'm Alison from Newcastle Speech Pathology. Now, about a week ago, we were asked a really interesting question. It was from a mum who has a teenage son, about 15 years old, who's currently going through puberty. So, as you know, with teenage boys and puberty, they go through this period where their voice breaks, where it goes from that, well, I guess one minute then they open their mouth, they're not sure what's going to come out. At one minute, it could be a really deep, resonant, adult male sounding voice, or it could be that little high pitched, squeaky, more childish voice. And they seem to have no control over when this is going to happen. Now, what she'd noticed is that because her son is at home and is doing his schooling online during lockdown, as we all are at the moment, that he was becoming reluctant to engage in the classroom learning and join in with the online video classes because he just doesn't know what's going to happen when he opens his mouth. And I guess being isolated at the moment gives him the added factor of not being around friends and not sort of hearing and experiencing his peers going through the same thing. So the question is, what do we do? So I had a little think about this and I thought, the first thing we need to do is have a conversation with our teenage boys and let them know that going through this period where their voice is breaking is absolutely normal, that every adult male who's gone through puberty has experienced the same thing. Then I think the second thing is explaining to them what exactly is actually happening. So puberty, lots of hormones, lots of testosterone, and big growth spurts, as you know. Well, not only are their limbs growing, but also their larynx and their vocal cords are growing. So this, your voice box, your larynx, where you can feel your Adam's apple here, that's made of cartilage, and that cartilage is extending and thickening. That's when you can feel that cartilage at the front there become more prominent, and you'll see that Adam's apple really become pronounced. But also the vocal folds, which are inside the larynx, and they're the part that vibrate together to actually make the voice. They're lengthening and thickening also. So it's a good analogy to think of perhaps a set of guitar strings. So you know that the strings that are the thickest create the deepest sound. So when the vocal cords are thicker, you're going to get that deeper voice. But the thinner vocal cord, or the thinner guitar string chords, you get the much more high-pitched sound. So whilst a teenage boy's vocal cords are thickening, they're going to go through that process of change from the high to the low. Now, what's also happening is the bones of the face are growing too. So that's creating some extra space in some of the sinuses and the cavities there that are going to give the voice a greater capacity for resonance, to vibrate around, and that sort of gives it that more rich timbre of a voice that you hear in adult males. So explaining this process to them, letting them know that it's absolutely normal, that is part of what every teenager is going to go through, that what's going to come out on the other side is going to be this deeper, more rich adult sounding voice, and it's also going to, I guess, help them realise that it's just part of a growth spurt, that they're going to see some other positive results like becoming taller and things as well, is really great to know. Now, it's all good and well to know that this is normal, but how are we going to encourage them when it comes to using their voice, and particularly in current climate, using it on these video calls? Now, there is nobody out there that enjoys watching themselves or hearing themselves online or in these calls. So helping to prepare your teenage boy or girl for these kind of online learning platforms is just the same as we would prepare for a work meeting ourselves. So helping them realise that there's things that they can do to give themselves greater self-confidence online. So making sure that they're presenting in their appearance to their advantage. So perhaps helping your son work out what colour shirt, what style of shirt would best suit for an online chat is a great thing to do. The other thing is get them to consider the lighting and sitting in as much natural light as possible and not hiding away in the shadows. Posture, sitting up nice and straight, will give that air of confidence and engagement that will help your student feel more engaged in the learning, and also give that impression to the teachers as well, which is also important. Of course, breathing techniques and helping them to manage stress is really important. So perhaps teaching them how to do a few deep breaths before they prepare to jump online for a class, learning how to be able to sit in the class whilst it's going on and continue some of that deep breathing to prepare them for perhaps answering and responding to questions. So in general, anything you can do to build their self-confidence with appearing in an online video chat is going to be really, really helpful. And of course, giving them the opportunity to practice with you as well is going to be fantastic. Now, that's not going to guarantee that when your child opens his mouth, the perfect deep adult voice is going to come out. Sometimes they are going to get those vocal glitches that are going to slide from low to high and squeaky and resonant. But if they can smile with confidence, move naturally, and just move forward with self-confidence, that's going to create all the difference in the world. So knowing that it's normal, smile when it happens, and just keep going on will help them take have the confidence to take the steps in participating in class discussions.